in the tram. I was like, oh shit, we're here.
Yeah, I have fun stories with the Lyons brothers also.
Oh man, they are my absolute heroes. What's up, y'all? We are live here at the Aloud compound. I'm with my man Todd Franz, and it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Franz.
Oh, thanks, Z-Griff.
So
appreciate it, brother.
So happy to see you. So happy to have you back home.
Another trip around the sun. I'm glad to be home, and it has been one hell of a journey, that's for sure.
Man. Well, the Ultimate Fighter, check the boy out. You're looking great. You were snowboarding today. I'm so happy to see you. We're so happy to have you in the county again.
Believe me, it's nice to be home. I spent 5 months in Denver going through, just my treatment regimen and went through a lot of crazy extra stuff too, and it was, yeah, the experiences. I don't recommend anyone do it. I don't
recommend necessarily. If you were to have to, though, they could look on to some of your videos and some of the knowledge that you've imparted through your series. Man, it's been really touching to follow you along your journey. It is an amazing catalog of days of the fight, man.
I started doing a YouTube channel just having gone through lymphoma once before 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago, 12 years ago now.
Jeez, check that, yep.
It's just, time flies when things are going well. Even when things aren't going well, time flies. And
that's for sure.
And I started documenting kind of everything that was going along with it. And this second go around, if that's really anything to be proud of or anything, I wanted to document the journey of it, and so that's what I've been doing. And I haven't been posting as much as I should lately, but that's okay.
That's because we're back to the land of the living. Forgive me for saying it in such a way, but it is just that you're at death's door, my man, and you are come back, and we see you standing here, the man.
I'm here, man. I'm excited too, and I feel fortunate that I could come back and we can kind of start working on a few things to kind of help other cancer patients, kind of give them a bit of an experience, and that's what Strapping for Life does with the nonprofit and the organization that we've built. And it kind of went on hiatus for a little bit because kind of
some curveballs.
Kind of had to deal with those curveballs, but as we kind of move forward and we as time kind of moves on, we're getting back into the fundraising side of it, and this was a perfect opportunity to do that with me coming home, and
that's what it is,
and getting it going. So
it more than anything, we're so happy to have you here on your birthday, man. It was been not the season without seeing you on the hill all the time. I was happy to see you on one of the last times you got to go snowboarding before you went down to Denver for treatment. I recall this was around Christmas of last year.
Yep.
And man,
yeah,
you got the white coat. You're like the white knight out there, man. So,
I actually just put it through the wash to clean it up a little.
Clean it up for show day. But one thing I think about when I think about my snowboard heroes is the documentation of all those shots and all those times and all those things and all those stories that I put myself into your shoes when I see those shots, man, or those posters. I'm boning one out like Todd, or I'm planting just like Todd, and and in that way you're so heartfelt, and I could feel that as well following along your journey, man. And I can only think of how many people you touch in that way, more so than the infinite number of people you touch on your snowboard, dude. It's such an honor to know you, man, and that we love you here in Colorado. We love you here in Breck so much, man.
Thank you so much.
And the world loves you all around. And we love snowboarding, and that's what this is about.
Yeah.
And we want to get people to enjoy some time in the hills. That's a little bit what Strapping for Life is. They're going to take a family affected by going through treatments and turning your life upside down, and fighting every single day. And Strapping for Life, the cause is to bring people through to the hills and give them a little respite.
And that was kind of the original premise of what we were doing with Strapping for Life, was to give families a little bit of a break from kind of the monotony of going through treatment. And it's tough, I mean, this last little bit, I mean, I have been going through treatment one way or another for the last 19 months at this point. I was re-diagnosed in July of 2019, and this has been, the journey so far, and it's, from all the different types of treatment that have failed to, different types of treatments, period.
I was amazed by all the treatment descriptions that you had, going down to other countries, researching all the time, that I learned about on the snowboard podcast that I was listening to.
Yeah.
Such a good one.
Yeah.
Man, the questions, the continuous questioning of what route to go on, I suppose, huh?
It's kind of one of those things, like, you don't necessarily want cancer to be a personality defining in a sense, but it has become such an important part of who I am and what I've kind of gone on to learn about too, and
I like that.
And to be able to, I guess, be an ambassador for other survivors and to just help them understand, because when I went through this the first time, there was not anyone out there. I mean, cancer is one of the it's the second leading cause of death in the world and in the U.S. behind heart disease. And so you have to think about that a little bit, you know what I mean? And
everyone knows somebody affected by cancer at a varying degree.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is really a celebration of life, and for all of our people that are not here with us anymore, man. I know the people that started the foundation, my mother-in-law Teeny, everyone has been touched in some way or another by it. And that's why we're so happy to have you with us, and every day above ground, like you said, that you're not pushing up tulips.
Yeah, that was my dad saying, just as he was getting older, he's like, every day is a good day and I'm not pushing up daisies. So I have to agree with him. And there was a couple periods during the last few months that were like kind of hairball. I had a big fevering episode that my temperature hit 107 and some change, and I was starting to cook from the inside out.
Yeah, these are reports you get from doctors that are almost unbelievable to hear. He said this is as maxed out as you can get,
Yeah.
That is cooking.
Yeah, not
in the good.
But those are part of the things that come along with, unfortunately, dealing with the treatments of what, in my case, I was dealing with lymphoma, and that's.
So tell me some more about lymphoma. I know that it affects a good deal of people, and that it has a high rate of remission.
Yep.
And man.
Lymphoma is a type of blood cancer, essentially. It's a lymphatic, so it's an immune deficiency issue, and there's a number of different kinds. I had a very classic kind of lymphoma, and it's called Hodgkin's, and there's a couple other similar types. And then there's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and that gets into a lot of other crazy types of I guess how it affects the lymphatic system and how it affects your lymphocytes and everything else. Mine is pretty straightforward, and it's been really known to have a good recovery and remission rate afterwards, where some of the others aren't as fortunate. So I'm really fortunate in that regard to be able to fight it.
Oh man, I just know there's so many different types of cancers, and that it's just good to know and attach actual ailments to it. Sometimes it's just thought of as the big C and this and that, and I've learned a lot by following your journey about Hodgkin's lymphoma and other forms of cancer, and also how to avoid certain things or telltale signs or this or that, but I mean the truth is, man, it strikes and there's nothing you can do about it but deal with it. And to face it with dignity, the way that you have has been wholly inspirational to me, man. And I thought I was inspired by your board, man. But this, like I said, this isn't all about just the cancer, man. We had some great times boarding, and I moved here on the advice, as I guess you could say, of some of my heroes like yourself and some of these people that were running freeway and running the Colorado freestyle scene in the day, man. Can you tell me a bit about the day? You were born and raised here?
I was born, well, technically I was born in Denver at Presbyterian.
All right.
Because my mom, I guess the doctors wanted my mom to be in Denver for my birth.
Sure.
My brother was born in Fairplay. Go figure. So my brother's a true South Park kid.
So older brother.
Younger brother.
Younger brother.
One brother.
You have one brother. Cool.
But yeah, I mean that was the first 2 days. But yeah, I'm pretty much born and raised in Breckenridge.
And snowboarding, it was sort of a new thing. Came to me where there was not even many snowboards around to use. We didn't have snowboard boots. We were pretty amazed when it came through town.
My first pair of boots were some the Walmart Sorel knockoffs.
Knockoff Sorel, all right, yeah, I like it.
That we got, and just put ski boot liners in them. Nice. And that was kind of how we started.
Did you grow up skiing, I assume, and everybody does here in the county? And what about other sports you play?
I kind of went off during I guess mid to late grade school. I went off and started cross country skiing.
Wow.
So I was really involved in competitive cross country skiing up until about 9th grade, and that's when, well, I was snowboarding a little bit every year because my brother was a big skateboarder at the time, and he's the one.
Where were you guys skating up here?
Our basement.
Basement, nice.
And then
Eddie and I were just talking about when the break skate park went in. It was like '93.
Yeah, something like
break
that.
Skate park
but in the
in
the 80s, we had, my brother taught my dad into building ramps.
Nice.
And so we've had 4 different ramps in our yard over the course of 15 years or something like that.
How about, who was like, do you remember first cement bowl in the county?
That was Breck.
Yeah.
That was the little pill
yeah.
that went in at Breck, and it was a bunch that old park. I mean, fortunately we got a park, but the people that built it didn't know how to build a park.
Yep.
And this was way before like
having a full-on park building professional awesome team like a Team Pain coming in.
These were like foundation builders, like building house foundations and stuff, coming in to try to figure out how to build.
Oh my God. There's horror stories throughout of contractors, the wrong contractors.
Oh, yeah.
Pouring, man, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shrink it down. Just shrink it down if it doesn't fit in the footprint.
But we, my mom kind of, growing up here, you get to know everyone. So everyone in the town we knew, and we kind of set it up. We set up a meeting with the town to kind of present our side of trying to get a skate park. So we were all young at this time, you know. And we had the littlest kid, this kid Josh Kitts, come up and do a majority of the speaking, and he could just barely see over the pedestal, the speaking pedestal thing. And so he's just looking over, and we ended up getting the funding for the first park, and it wasn't a lot, but it was something, and it was a place for us to go. And then it kind of morphed into the second park. A couple different
iterations
to it, and then the next big one was the Pain Park, the first Team Pain Park.
Right,
and then,
with the kind of elbow in the bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, and the metal ramps and the metal quarter and the metal box.
Yep. And then
too low and too high. We called both sides of that box.
And then it kind of went on to a whole different to what the park is now today. So it's.
And I remember going to the meetings and having our young one jump up and do the talking for us. At that park. It's funny how that happens every gen, sort of. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, so that's kind of that. We had, kind of rewind a little bit. We had ramps in our yard, through the mid, 85, 84, 85 through mid 90s. And then, yeah, we had all sorts of people come over, and that's where, you know, skateboarding is really what allowed my brother and I to meet a huge majority of all the people, all the original riders.
Yeah.
I mean, we had
my whole life, Todd, has been through meeting all the greats and meeting people through skating and snowboarding, and it goes beyond people that even skate or snowboard. And it's been the joy of my life, and that's what's so cool, that you can hang with your heroes and see the people, and skateboarding more than anything is more available than snowboarding, of course, you know.
Well, it's
so,
more attainable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a cheaper way to let people get into it. And you know, snowboarding's expensive.
Absolutely.
You know?
But this is the great debate. It's like, if you have to know skateboarding to have the right style on a snowboard. Like, what kind of sport do you judge based on another sport? You know, like another sport style, which is part of the reason I absolutely love snowboarding, is it has this litmus test that is based in another sport of skating, which is we're doing it on snow, you know.
100%.
It isn't surfing, and then it becomes its own animal. You know, the things you then realize you can do on a snowboard equals you can, you know, do anything. But I love how the true testament is this skate idea, and everybody's always real strict on these rules, you know. And we only learn the right way by seeing it done in front of your face. Boy, it's like, that's my favorite. And this brings me to the Throwback Throwdown. It was just kind of where I started, got to say what's up and take some runs with you, and you won it that year. It was the only time. It was one of the best contests in Breckenridge.
I beat Chad Otterstrom, go figure.
Did you ever compete with Chapin today? Was he the young stun as a day? He missed a little.
It's funny because he is 4 months younger than I am, but he came into snowboarding at a different era essentially than I did. Just growing up here, I was in such an early time of snowboarding. But
that's what I was mentioning earlier. You were fully on the national team at under 18, is that right? Or you were on with a board company in Airwalk at like before 18, right? And you're traveling in planes and
so I got sponsored. Let's see, this is 91, so I was 14.
Yes.
I was part of the original
14
starting with Team Summit.
Yes.
And Team Summit was sponsored by Morrow.
Okay.
I had qualified that year to go to nationals.
Yep.
And went to nationals, and that was in Mount Hood, Oregon.
Oh wow.
Timberline, and we ended up.
I've been Timberline Meadows as well. Awesome. Yep. Oh my God! And I was actually out there with Team Summit coach Moses, and I was with Ollie.
Oh yeah.
And so wow. I mean, yeah, Team Summit has been integral in a lot of people's upbringings, careers, this and that. But that's so cool. You're one of the original Team Summit people.
Oh yeah. And now Team Summit's expanded into all sorts of different stuff. But yeah, I was part of the original Team Summit team.
And from cross country skiing as well. No, that's a different.
No, this is just snowboarding.
Cool.
This was I was 9th grade.
Yes.
And we ended up going, and our whole team ended up just destroying at nationals.
Yeah, just ruling. At Mount Hood.
We ruined everyone there. It was great.
Yeah.
In our age groups, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, it's now more than now, your access to a high level of snow terrain features and the scene, versus the growing of it in other places. Were people aware of the other scenes in that way? As a kid, did you know about the Midwest? There wasn't the same kind of. There was only magazines in that sense, and then.
Well, growing up here, this was like the place where everyone from the Midwest came to.
Yeah.
This was like their first stop.
Yeah.
So like all the heads from like Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota all came to Summit County first, and then some of them some went to Tahoe, some went to the northwest, and they all kind of, a lot of them stayed, a lot of them went, and they just kind of explored other places, but they all came here first. And because of skateboarding, we got to know a huge majority of them.
Oh, sure, you see them in the summertime, and then you get the names, and then everybody's
But
skating
each year there'd be a new set of people, and that actually still happens to today.
That's so true. If you,
You know?
prove it out there, you just go every day, you are gonna be.
Well, you got to remember the kids in the Midwest. They're the same. They're motivated the same way you were. They saw, kids like you just riding, having a good time, and they see that, and they're like, they want some of that as well. So they see that. They're like, they graduate high school, they move out to Colorado.
We were talking about that though. You think you're good somewhere, and then you show up to Summit, and the boys just put the screws on you. Like we were mentioning the Black Brothers earlier. We're talking about, you come up, you think you're gonna be somebody, and then these local homies, Todd being the, one of the originals, just put you down, give you the friendliest people ever, and they can do every trick in the book you ever wished you wanted to do. They do it perfect. They rip. So that's the best. I can just remember Jake ruling all the races.
Yeah.
The fastest man on snow, and then he could do the prettiest tricks.
I was gonna say Jake is fast, man. He is really fast.
Jake,
He's
and
good.
those were great times in Colorado when we were running those early races. Like March usually is a lot of these great bank slaloms, and hopefully we can have some come up. But I'm thinking of the slash and burn early days, Howells Hill times, and
oh man, that was a lot.
And
of fun,
Jake ruled every one of these contests, man. God bless you. He's down there doing it with Pal.
And Zach was no slouch either,
Zach
man.
got the switchback 10 in a pipe, which is what 3 or 4 people can do this. Chad being the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe one of these new kids. I've seen a couple of new kids do switchback 12, but that only comes from switchback 10, which is
the new kids have just set it at such a new level. It's
yeah.
I can't. Yeah. I've hit a point, I turned 45 today, so.
Hey!
It's kind of hard to. I have a hard time keeping up with all the kids these days. They're all so good and they're all so young.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun to watch, and yeah, man, I
think this year, in its the way it's been, not X Games and not this and that, the way everybody's had to take a step back and appreciate everything a little more.
Yeah.
There's even less pressure put on being some crazy flipping must do everything. It's kind of back to the love of snowboarding, which is you always embodied to me. Even though going through some of those first contest stories that you mentioned, and you just said, this isn't it, man. This is what it's about for me, and that really rung home for me. I was in a lot of contests, and I always fought the fight and all that stuff. And
I think it's really important for the young kids to be involved in contests, because it adds an element to snowboarding that I think is super important.
I agree.
But I think it's not the only thing. Well, I don't think. I know it's not the only part to snowboarding.
It's like a test of yourself, if you can do it when the money's up or when the time is right or when the.
It gives you a way to kind of think about, how you can better yourself.
Yeah, there we go. And that starts.
And you also get to meet people and meet your,
that's so true.
Other peers and other people that have a similar like-minded mentality about what you're doing and what you're involved in, and
the levels of stoke you see when someone puts one down in a situation like that is crazy. And then the progress of the sport that I've seen is wild. So the early contest days, were they a Wild West? Was it I try to get the check from the promoter, I'm over here in Europe, I'm 16.
Yeah. Well, growing up in Breckenridge, we had all the Swatch World Cups here.
Oh, wow. Racers, pipers.
All the above.
All of it.
And just, I got to meet a number of them during that time. And, it was a Wild West back then. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was young at the time. So,
I can't
and all of the people that I looked up to, unfortunately, I've been able to meet pretty much all of them at this point. And, meeting them at when I was a little kid, my brother met all of them first because of skateboarding. But, when I finally met all my peers and my idols, it was wild, man.
Yeah.
And then just
nowadays they have the young one on the team, but this wasn't even, yours wasn't niche. It was, you were just that good, that young, you know? Like, there wasn't even people your age similar in that way. You were going up against grown men and full on driving you around in their cars. And
I remember, you know, kind of one of my original on tour times. And I was riding from Morrow at the time, and ended up going to like June Mountain to a PSTA event, and riding June Mountain with heads, man.
Yo, June is just an
heads.
You can see everything.
You know,
you can see people from everywhere.
Boy.
Oh man.
I mean, the heads.
Yo.
And I'm competing with them. I'm young, like going.
That's
young,
stuff,
like nervous,
dude, yeah.
like going, holy shit!
Yeah.
This is I like I can't even believe I'm here, you know. So it happens, you know. It happens, you know, as you get in more and more involved in the industry, and you just kind of follow that passion, and that's exactly.
I can feel it, man. These stories, like I feel, I can live through it, and the power. It's awesome.
I had one that is most memorable than any of them, and this was when Solomon started their snowboard program. It was myself, Jake Blattner, Jason Ford, and J2.
Yeah.
Were the four. That's where it started at. And then Michelle Taggart came on, some other people. And
Michelle Taggart signed my poster.
Yeah. But we ended up going up to Island Lake Lodge in Canada.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a shallow year that year, and we were just whatever, and we all sat down for dinner. Everyone at the table, and I apologize if I miss a couple of you. The people at the table were Scott Schmidt,
the professor,
the ski,
the board builder extraordinaire.
Scott Schmidt. No, Scott Schmidt. No, not the board builder.
Oh, okay.
The skier.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
And Scott Schmidt.
No, you're right. From the Blizzard of Oz.
From the Blizzard of Oz. Craig Kelly. CK. The man. And Jason Ford, Jake Blattner, Twos, myself, Joe Curtis, Jeff Curtis. I think Michelle Taggart was there.
This is incredible.
Julie, Bonnie Zell, and Jeff Zell. God, I'm so bad. I'm totally fully having chemo brain right now. Okay?
Yeah, you can always use that. That's the good.
Well, the Zells, I shall say, and who else was there? I think Noah Brandon was there.
Oh man, Summit's own, right?
No, Brandon was a Vermont kid, but he was a Morrow guy back in the day. I have another funny story about that. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting at this table, and I just smoked a little bit of weed, and so I was baked, and I sat down, and then I just fully like fanned out. I lost. I couldn't say anything. I was, and Jeff Curtis saw me like. I was totally in just like
full on flounder mode.
I couldn't speak. I couldn't do anything, and he called it out in front of everyone.
Yep.
And everyone all turned to me, and I was just like,
goon boy.
Oh, I was such a goon boy. And they all just busted up laughing because they knew exactly what I was going through and feeling at that time. So
that's the best, man. That's what I love about it. People are almost too cool on a snowboard these days, and I like
but
to
it was
goon around.
at such a unique time in snowboarding that we were all just
amazed. Look at us.
We were all in one spot. We were all there for the same reason. Obviously, we were there to do work, but it was all because of snowboarding and everything else that was rad. So.
All because of snowboard, man. So good.
All right,
guys, let's draw this ticket. Everybody, come on up here. We got a ticket to draw. We got some people on live. We're drawing.
Quick entries.
Quick entries? How's that? Late entries.
Todd, your mask.
Late entries. All right, y'all. We have a couple late entries. We are going to pull this promptly. Let's go. All right, we got tickets. How many do we need? Woo! We're going to pull from the beast. Thanks, y'all.
Oh, and I just wanted to say real quick, want to thank Aloud SnowSkates and Zach, to help put this thing together, because, you know, as I kind of had to put Strapping for Life into hibernation for a little bit, this has been a great way to kind of get things rolling again and get back on the ball of it. So I just have to say thank you to Aloud SnowSkates and to Zach for coming to me about trying to put something like this together. So very, very excited and very much appreciated.
You want to go 80?
No, I'll get it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right time?
I don't know.
6.
We have a few minutes.
We have just like 2
I'll
minutes.
put this in
Right.
there, and you guys round it up.
Is that all right?
What happens if someone the fifth ticket in an intense game of rock, paper, scissors? Or
Yeah.
do you think that's how we should do it? If it's like we get the fifth ticket? Or maybe you put an extra 20.
Skate
Maybe.
made in Colorado, the Aloud SnowSkates. This is a custom design Rich Fisher tattoo from the Rocky Mountain Tattoo Emporium.
Rock, paper,
152, the Snow Beast. Aloud is
like keep it
using Folsom Ski Technology, another Colorado company.
Yeah.
Custom
We'll keep
built
the extra
fish
on the
shape
side.
here.
Yeah.
Eddie
Just
showed
like
me his
that.
original mold. It's down here. And this thing should go into like a Hall of
Oh, yeah,
Fame
one-
someday. Ungy Bungy Leash, the best in the biz, and CNC lathes from your son.
Sideways tab.
It's a family affair with the Aloud SnowSkate. Tickets for these guys, they got to sign that one, and we'll go last minute in there. And it's because it's allowed. It's a play on words. It's also allowed. Things are to snowskate.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do whatever you want that's fun.
There was a
Is
time
the rule. Yes.
where things like this were not allowed,
That's
including
very
snowboarding.
true. That's true.
So we've come a long way in the last, 30 years or so.
Part of the proof of how a snowboard was safe was like when people started actually doing good tricks and there was documentation of it, and those early contests really helped to get the word out, I suppose. Let's give a shout out to some of the homies. First, we have to thank the Underground family and Andy down at the Underground. Much love to you.
Yeah,
One of the
Andy.
oldest snowboard shops in the whole game.
Yep.
Oldest shops in the whole game. Aloud SnowSkates here. We're at the Aloud compound. Eddie, the man, the myth. 970 Sticker Company, thank you for making these flyers. They can help you with all printing needs. We mentioned Rich Fisher and the Rocky Mountain Tattoo Emporium. Those boys are open for biz in La Cima. Folsom Skis also. Custom. CamSale, the man behind the lens. Thank you so much. We can see him, CamSale photo. Thanks to everybody at the Aloud compound. Jim for putting in so much work digging. We have a setup here that is unlike anything you've ever seen. Jim, Scott K, thank you so much for the digging and digging and digging. There hasn't been much snow, but it doesn't matter. We have made the most, and it is really come together here. We want to thank the Empire crew. They bought tickets when I posted up outside today. Much love and luck to you all.
Thank you.
Aaron Dodds, and a couple of our $100 hitters, Jason Perlman, Ryan Gilbert, Ansel at the brewery, our man Jim, Mike Day, those them homies. Thank you so much. And of course, Strapping for Life, and
Yeah.
all the great people that I've met through you. It's really touching. But what I wanted to say, what did I want to say? Oh, this is a celebration of life. It's your birthday. And there's been a lot of people that are not with us, and this is for them as well, and people that are affected or going through a hard time, people that we've lost cancer like Twos, people that we lost to suicide like Jaeger, and people that we lost to bad circumstance like Craig and
Yeah.
and Josh Millay. Did you know Millay?
I knew
when
Millay.
Millay came through, man.
New Malay, man. That was.
I met some of the people at Millay Day originally, my
that
first
was,
people.
That was a tough one as well,
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, as we all get older, those are the things that we have to get used to have happening, and it doesn't get any easier. But there are reasons why we do events like this and get people together, even though we are in the middle of COVID, just to have this.
That's what it is. We're here for the community,
This
and to
moment
know
to
we're
be
all
able to
we're all
share with
boarding.
everyone.
We're so lucky to be able to
I'm
board.
sorry for everybody I had to reject to come here today.
That's right.
I
Yeah,
got
we're
a
trying
lot
to
of
stick to
calls that
some
people
close
wanted
rules.
to come ride. and I had to shut them down, and I feel bad.
But that's the message of inclusion, is that we can all get out there and go out and ride and be with your friends and enjoy every moment of the day and every day above ground.
Every day above ground. And so today is day 100 and I think 24 since my stem cell transplant. So it's that's a feat in itself, and I'm just, like I said, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be seen, and I'm happy to be able to do this with my peers. So
well, we're happy to have you. So let's give away a skate, huh? So it's about to be a very happy person here. Todd himself is going to draw.
Shuffle them up and pull one
here we go.
Yeah, to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Todd Friesen. Happy birthday to you. Yeah!
Thank you, everyone. All right, here we go. The ticket is 060063.
Ansel, you win the brewery. He bought 100 tickets. Ansel, the big winner. That's our boy. Came in at the last. That's a winner. Cheers,
come
man.
ride it.
That boy, he's stoked. We ripped it. All right,
Come ride the
Ansel,
yard
you're
if you
a
like.
fucking winner.
Yeah, Ansel.
Woo! And Todd here, everybody, also to sign these. This is your birthday gift. Remember? This is what we started at the fundraiser that you threw at the ranch. We got some wax, but I want everybody to sign them. We got the Mayhem Posse representing right here. Simon Gang, the Barclays, we got all the gang on here. So
Perfect.
Before we seal them up, if you guys want to sign them, please do.
Please do.
Thank everybody, and let's rip a little. We're gonna do a little bit of board. No, I don't know if this is protocol through the docks, but we got some cupcakes. Hell yeah! And thank y'all for coming through. Thank you to Eddie. Thank you to the whole gang, and we're gonna be throwing down next week at Silverthorne on the 5th for the Silverthorne First Friday Rail Jam. Come join us over there. $10 for competitors, $2,400 in prizes. Win a snowboard. Win some other stuff. Who knows? We'll be there. We might even have the ability for spectators. So
Awesome.
anything could happen.
Hey, thank you for participating. I really appreciate it. This is going to a good cause, and awesome. Thank you all so much.
Much love. Give me a hug. All right, wrap. Good stuff. Thank you all so much for donating. We raised, I believe, over $1,000. Yep. Woo! You guys.
Yeah, I was like, what? I was hoping that, I started thinking, well, a few $100 would be cool. And all of a sudden it's like, dude, we're up here. I was like, holy damn.
Oh, nice. There's Tina in the shuttle. Taking a stop to ride the skate.
Sorry, I just blocked everyone out.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Todd, I'm Scott, by the way. Nice to meet you.